So, welcome, Jeannys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for joining our conversations. And I'm just so happy to reconnect with you. I think we just stopped seeing each other after, COVID, which was
Yeah.
hard. After that, I went from, I went up to the Bronx. So I just,
Yeah.
I was there for a year working on
Oh
COVID.
wow, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's just that it was really hard. I mean, I thought the Bronx was closer to Manhattan, and it's really far away. And
Yeah.
it was just a pain. So, anyways, so I just wanted to get people to know you. I love your story. I just don't want, I want for you to talk to us about it. So, I want for you to introduce yourself. Who are you? Where are you in the world? And what are you doing right now?
Okay. So hi everyone. I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Mary, for reconnecting with me. And I'm super glad to be here with you guys. So my name is Janice and I'm originally from Gabon. It's like a small country in Africa. And so I started my adventure in the United States somewhere in 2019. At the time, I was like a newly grad in medical school, and I came like with the objective of getting into residency and things like that. So my route wasn't like straightforward. So after I completed my equivalencies, I have my credential as an MD here in the United States. I worked a little bit as a respiratory therapist. And then I decided, so because I still wanted to, to complete my residency and everything, I still wanted to have like a consistent CV. And I realized that, I don't know much about research, so let's go with it. So, so that's pretty much how I ended up at Mount Sinai. That's how I met you. So I started first with the certificate program, but then I realized that I still needed to dive deeper into research. And now I'm like a PhD candidate in clinical research and enjoying it so far. Yeah, that's the short, the
That's
long story short.
like very extremely short. Well, I'm
Mhm.
so proud of you, and I know it's gonna. I mean, I know that, and something that I want to talk to you, looking at your story, is that you have a lot of consistency, because it takes a lot to because you're MD, you studied medicine.
Mhm.
I want to ask you about Mali, but first I want to ask you about
Yeah.
consistency. Like, how old are you, if you don't mind me
No,
asking?
I don't mind. I'm 36, young.
Oh my God, you look so great. So,
Thank you.
I mean, it's really tempting to say, okay, I have my MD and I'll just go into pediatrics, and then in 3 years I'll make money and I'll just be set for life and I'll just see patients.
Mhm. Mhm.
You have gone in, like, your path has been really long and it's ongoing, and I'm sure
Yeah.
after your PhD you'll do a postdoc and it'll be great. So, how do you? What is your relationship with patience and consistency and keep moving forward?
So I think medicine has always been a passion of mine. I really wanted to be able to do something that would be able to help people. I know it sounds cheesy, but it really is my drive. And but because I think when you are like adventuring in sciences, you really need to have something that drives you, because it's usually like a very long process. And if you don't have sometimes goals are great, but passion is even better to reach those goals. And I think for me, the possibility to interact with patients, the possibility to see that like the various research projects that I've done, or the patient I was able to take care as a physician, the patient I was able to take care as a respiratory therapist, if I was able to have a good impact on them, that was good enough for me. And I think that's usually what you need to, for me, it's like, patient satisfaction, the possibility to help them, but you need to find a way to see, this is going to be my drive in this journey, and that will help you carry through. Yeah.
That's super. I mean, that's. I think I share that with you. I think everybody that engages with medicine, they have an altruistic dream to help people, and in a very practical way. It's not just a dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you. I just think that sometimes because academia is so, it offers you such a long path, it's
Yeah.
really hard to, convince yourself that actually you're making the right choices by staying, and
Hmm.
also recharge and be able to reinvent yourself on the way to
Yeah.
be able to reach other goals that you didn't know existed. When you left Mali, I'm guessing that you went from Mali
Yeah.
to the US, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. You didn't know what was going to happen.
No.
You know, and and
And
it's
I like,
crazy,
okay.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. I guess because Mali and Gabon are both like countries where French is spoken, and you kind of assume that it will, when you arrive to the US, that will be like the French system, and
right,
that might not be like very different from it, but no.
right,
usually, usually what helps is when you have like done some research about, what's going to be there. And sometimes, connect with people. Connect with people now that, especially like that internet access, especially in the US, that is like kind of easy to have. Google some stuff. Try to look for, network association that are like that you can identify with. Speak with people, and sometimes people, when they can relate to you, and if you are sincere in what you are, asking, and you're truthful to what you're asking, you will find people that will help you along the way. So yeah, the road might not be straightforward and things like that, but you will still advance as long as you know that you are you have a goal at the end, and you keep on advancing. It doesn't have to be fast. That's okay if it takes longer than expected. Don't be frustrated by, the obstacles that you might face, but just keep on advancing and keep on moving forward. People will be along the way to give you advice, and always, take it with like a grain of salt, because, some people will give you good advice and some other people might not, and that's okay. And that's human nature. That's how you learn, and that's
yeah,
how life is. So, just use also your critical thinking, and you will be able to incorporate a lot of the advice that you receive along the way. Yeah.
yeah. I agree. I agree. I think, yeah, I think in your mind it's super. I mean, it's sort of a fantasy when you're doing all this traveling and adapting all over again,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, have people help you along the way. Also, people don't really want to help you, so it's
Yeah.
weird how science also permeates in life, and you learn
Mm.
to see life critically as well. So,
Yeah.
uh, on those terms, and on moving, do you think it's valuable to study abroad? How's your experience on that?
Yeah, 100%. I 100% feel that it's important, because you're also going to be exposed to like a different culture that you might be able to learn from. You might even be able to appreciate your own culture more, because you are living like within like a foreign culture that you don't necessarily identify with, or you will take like some aspect of the culture that you are in and realize that, oh yeah, I can incorporate that into my lifestyle. You will realize that you're going to grow as a human being. You're going to grow as a researcher, or as a, for me, as a physician, because you're going to be exposed to a different type of population of patients. And yeah, definitely this type of information will look great on your CV, and it will be able to help you like to become like even like a more an open-minded and a more understanding human being.
Right. I like that. I I think it's a little. It sounds a little risky because the systems and the culture shock. Like I always tell
Yeah.
my students, if you're going away, and I think it's fine, but also consider the culture shock,
Yeah.
because it's not the same, and
Yeah, it is
also the way
not.
that yeah, and also the way that the schools evaluates people.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that in France, I don't know if I mean Nabila, our friend Nabila, you know her. She went from Morocco to Hafsa. I think Hafsa knows Nabila.
Hamza, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
she went from Morocco to France and then the US, and it was completely different. She had to
Yeah.
adapt so many times. And
Yeah.
now since she's in Philadelphia, and she's like, now she doesn't care. But it takes some flexibility inside of you to be able to
Exactly.
adapt.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
I always bring this question that I want to ask you on community, because in my case, those I mean the ways that you adapt depends a lot on community and the people that
yeah,
are around you. But I
yeah.
also know that traveling from one place to another is a lonely experience.
Yes.
So tell me,
Yes.
how you combine those things together?
Okay, so for me, I'm Gabonese, and we speak French. You don't find a lot of Gabonese here in New York.
Oh, really? You don't you
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. I thought you
yeah.
could
I haven't.
find some community
No,
there.
you can find like some people who speak French. For example, I'm very close with Hausa because we share the language, and there are like some aspect of like countries who've been colonized by French that we are like sharing, and that, and that's
Out.
kind of how that we got close with each other. And sometimes when you're tired of speaking English, we switch it into speaking in French. But as a Gabonese, I don't interact with Gabonese people. I haven't seen like Gabonese people here in the New York, but maybe because I didn't like look that
Right.
much. Also,
Right.
yeah,
I
because I
just
was
can't believe it.
also
There must
yeah,
be.
yeah, yeah. Because for us, you will find us like a lot in France, a lot in Belgium, and
Yes.
things like that. Because French is already spoken, and like a black woman in science who are coming from like a
Right.
Gabonese country, it's even like
Right.
rare to find. So that might be like difficult to find the community. So I was kind of like wiggling by uh connecting with others community because I've always been like interested in learning new cultures and finding like the similarities with mine. It has like its positive aspects to it, and it also has like its negative aspect, like cultural shock, that there are like some certain realities that you realize.
Right.
But the fact of having done that allowed me to appreciate myself more, because sometimes you can have like some stereotypes associated with your identity and who you really are, but you really have to know who you are when you go abroad. It's very important because
Yes.
the society, yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna
because
push
the
you.
society, like, yeah, the society is going to put you in a box where you're like, no, this is not me.
Yeah.
And you have to be strong enough to look at yourself in the mirror, do the self-talk, and say, no, this is who you are, you matter, and things like that. You're going to be able to accomplish what you want to accomplish, and that will help you a lot when you find like those like encounters that are not necessarily having your best interest at heart. So community is great for me. I found new communities like with my faith because I'm Catholic. I joined like activities with people that I, because I'm not only like black or Gabonese, I'm also like Catholic, I'm also a salsa dancer and
Right.
things like that. So
Right.
I joined community with people that I'm doing activity with. So I sing in the choir, that's my community.
I
My
know. I
spouse
see
there, I
pictures. You
volunteer.
look so great. I mean, it's so fun. Where's that church, though?
Yeah, it's actually not so far from where I live. Every time I moved in Inwood during the pandemic, and I found like a very cute little church community called Good Shepherd, and they are just like in the corner, not so far from my place. And I was like, I like you guys, and and I just stuck with them. So they are very great, very welcoming. They are doing like volunteer activities from time to time, and they're having a choir. And I was like, oh, I have a voice, I can do something maybe. And I joined, and I've enjoyed it so far. Yeah.
That's awesome. I also want for you to talk to us about your salsa dancing experience. I
Oh,
love it.
yeah. I actually fell in love with salsa randomly. I was still living at the time in Washington D.C. because before moving to New York, I lived like for a couple of time in Washington D.C. And I
Right.
took like a Zumba class, and I was like, just to lose weight and things like that. I
Right.
was like, I love those rhythms. You know what? Let me just go and take like a salsa class, like formally, to actually know what it is. And I just love the dance. I just love the atmosphere around it, and I just continued to be a salsero. Yeah.
My
And
God.
when I moved here in
Yeah.
yeah,
No, no, go ahead.
sorry. Yeah, and when I moved here in New York, I was like, oh, I need to find like those places where I could also dance salsa. So the pandemic kind of hit in the middle of it, so I couldn't like really dance salsa during the pandemic for obvious reasons. But I found that very cool community. It's called that very cool school called Salsa Sagrosa. And I just hang out with them. They are the best. I learned Rueda Casino.
Oh my God, that's
with
the
them.
best one. Oh my God,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I used to
Me
dance it when I
too.
was a kid, and it was so great. I don't think I mean, I haven't looked at here, but it's so beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. So I was like, you know what? I need to learn because when I was still living in DC, I sometimes like saw people like dance like with that synchronized salsa
Yeah.
rhythm, and I had never learned it. And I just find that school that was teaching it. I was like, I need to learn this, and I went, I went, and and I enjoyed it, and I still like hanging out with them. We go on hikes together. We go to, around New York, or we just dance
Right.
together. So yeah, if you don't have like a community that is coming from your country or that is sharing your language, you can find like another community with your activities. So, and if you don't have any activities, just try things. You're in the US, you have like such a huge umbrella of activity. You might discover that you like it. I've never done salsa when I was living in Gabon or in Mali, but I
Right.
tried it and I was like, maybe let me try it, and I loved it and I stayed with it. So yeah,
No,
try.
that's amazing. I think it's key to keep some balance in life. Otherwise, it
Yeah,
just gets too rough, and it's just
yeah,
get life just pushes you and puts you in, as you said, between society and work is just too much. I know you
yeah.
have to go and do your stuff, but I just wanted to thank you for interviewing with me, and I really wish that you're. I mean, I wish you all the success in the world for sure. I
Thank you,
know that you're gonna make it, and it's gonna be awesome. But I'm also
thank
really
you.
curious on how your journey's going, and I hope we can talk to you in the future to see where you are
Yeah,
then,
yeah,
and maybe doing
yeah.
amazing things. So all the
Yeah,
best
oh,
to you.
definitely. We are connected with each other. I can always see that what's going on Instagram. That's how I know that you're doing great. So yeah, same thing. Whenever you want me to like to drop by just to say hi or to talk about like something else, just shoot me a text and I'll be there.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Best luck to you. I send you all the
Best luck to
kisses.
you too.
Hopefully, I'll see you in New York soon.
Okay, just let me know if you're around. Let's grab something to eat and let's go dance salsa.
Obviously, obviously.
Okay.
Thank you so
So
much. Bye, sweetie.
bye bye. Bye.